Welcome back to Women to Women. I'm here with my good friend Leticia.
Hi guys, welcome. We're glad to have y'all here again.
Yes, thank you for tuning in and listening. So today's quote of the day is, if it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. When I thought of this quote, I really just thought about my past experiences with just moving. I think the biggest thing that I've accomplished so far in my life is having moved to Miami. I feel like that's something that has definitely been a challenge and was a challenge because currently I'm back home in Orlando. So, but Florida in general has always been a place that I felt is home, but still just leaving like 3 hours has been such a difference.
So
What
my
about you?
question to you is like, why did you decide to move to Miami? Like, was it pleasure? Was it business? Why did you move to Miami?
Like you, I'm going to FIU, Florida International University, top schools that I wanted to go to. I mean, Miami was definitely the main reason. At first, I always wanted to move to New York, actually. And that was just really expensive. I mean, I'm sure you understand, like, as an out-of-state student, that's just like sometimes can just be so unrealistic at points in your life. But I definitely wanted to move to New York for a while. And then I was like, okay, get more realistic, Imani. What's something that you can still do that's cost effective and still gonna challenge you and change you for the better, you know? Because I was just really like, I need to get out of this town. Like where I live is really like a small town. So everybody kind of knows everyone and in everyone's business. And I didn't want to be around that anymore. And I kind of wanted to challenge myself and I wanted to go to Miami because I've seen a lot of stuff about Miami, and it's always been like this big party, like woohoo, fantasy life, live this luxury. And I was like, oh my goodness, I would love to live like that. And especially for college, like who doesn't want that party life? That's really what drew me to Miami.
Yeah, no, for sure. So me, I'm in the same boat as you. It's just that for me, it was different because I'm not from Florida. I'm from Texas. So me moving to Miami was completely challenging and difficult at first. The reason why I moved obviously was because of school, but my main reason was because my career that I'm trying to go ahead and be in is really in Miami. So I've always been a firm believer that if I'm gonna go ahead and put so much time and money into something, I have to go full force with it. And me trying to achieve that same degree down in Texas, where I'm from, was not going to give me to the place where I wanted to be career-wise. But I come from Texas. I come from a city, but it has like a town vibe to it. So going to Miami, I was shocked in so many ways. At first, I definitely felt uncomfortable because where I'm from is basically like little Mexico. I'm like 3 hours away from the border, so I was just used to my culture and my background and how we dealt with things, and down even to the driving wise. People in Miami just don't know how to drive, so just everything was completely different. Being like the culture change, people driving, the food, the atmosphere, everything was different. But it was definitely something that was very challenging for me. But I knew that I needed that challenge in my life for me to become a better person and really get what I was trying to accomplish, which is trying to be in a certain career. And definitely, I do agree with the quote that if it doesn't challenge you, it will not change you. And Miami definitely did change me.
Because of your career, like how would you say that um, is the best place for your career? Like how did you know?
That Miami was a good change for me because I was able to actually grow as a person. I was able to finally be free. And what I mean by be free is because I feel people down here are very judgmental. We're very closed off. Just coming from Mexican background, they're very closed off in a lot of things. So I grew up in that way. So even like I would be like, not that I would fear, but I just couldn't do this certain thing, or I couldn't dress like this, or I couldn't say this, because people would just look at me funny. Moving to Miami, it changed me in the sense where I felt I was able to be me. I felt where I was able to actually accomplish things, in the sense of, you know, becoming a better person, knowing people, networking, and that definitely, it was definitely challenging, but everything that I experienced in Miami was well worth it, because I was able to actually get my feet wet in my career. So it's definitely worth it. I would not change what I did for anything.
I know we're both communications majors. So you're in Prac as well?
Yes, so I'm in Prac. For those who don't know, Prac is basically public relations. What I'm trying to go ahead and achieve with that is be in the music industry, but specifically in the Spanish. So obviously Miami is where it's at with the Spanish music. All the urban artists are down there, or if not, like many of their marketing or firms or PR agencies are down there. So I was blessed within 6 months of being in Miami to had an internship with the public relations agency that actually dealt with that industry. And it was definitely hard. I didn't think I was gonna get it, but you know, I did challenge myself. I did things differently, and I saw it differently, and you know, I was able to get accepted to that internship. And because of that, it's getting me places slowly but surely. But I definitely do believe that if it's not challenging you, it won't change you. People are so used to be consistent and
trust the process.
Exactly. Yeah, they're happy where it's at, and that's a good thing that you said. Trust the process, but at the same time too, with doing that, I also believe that you have to put a time frame, because we definitely need to trust the process. But if we don't put an actual time frame to it, we can be trusting the process for many years, and we're being consistent, thinking that, okay, well, tomorrow or you know next year I'm gonna get, you know, this new job, or you know, do or whatever you're trying to achieve. But if you don't put a time frame to that process, it will not get you nowhere, because you'll just stay consistent, because you're okay where you're at, and it's not challenging you. And when you get to that point, it's just like you're just getting used to the same cycle of your life.
It's crazy that you say that, because I feel like a lot of people are from different places in Miami, and it feels like they've been there forever. And I feel like that's why I've always been like kind of intimidated by the city, because it just feels like everybody has this confidence that it's like, oh, you know, I'm from around here. Like you can kind of assume people aren't from around there, but it just seems like they are, because they're so confident. So like when I first moved there, I wasn't the most confident person. Like I was struggling with my weight and wanting to look a certain way. And like towards the end of high school, I was like already trying to lose weight to fit into a specific dress. And so like I knew that I was moving to Miami, so I had to look a certain way, and I had to fit into a certain like kind of stereotype, I want to say, of like the perfect Miami like baddie.
Yes.
I don't know how else to put it, but like the Miami baddie, I had so much pressure on me, and I really did have to trust the process and really challenge myself to change, you know, because I wasn't the type of person who was in the gym until I moved to Miami. I wasn't the type of person who would care that much. I mean, I always cared, but I never felt so insecure or like viewed in such a physical way until I moved there. Being a Black woman, like being Black in America is a big thing, and I mean, I've of course have had my own experiences being Black, but until I moved to Miami, I never like understood what it meant to just like be profiled a certain way. And it's not even just for being Black, but it's like, are you this? Are you that? Do you look like this? Do you drive this? And it's just like, oh my God, like the amount of pressure is insane. It really is. So I feel like that's something that I kind of noticed moving on from the career wise, because I feel like it is such an important place to like network and build your career. Also, I feel like it's a place for when you've already had a career and you can just like enjoy your life, because that's another thing people don't tell you about Miami is like you need to have the money to keep up with Miami. I mean, definitely trusting the process. But I would say I was happy for some parts of it. I mean, and I definitely love it. It's like my toxic boyfriend that I can't leave. Like it really it really is. It's the boyfriend that I just can't let go of, because like I mean, I was just there, you were just there, and it's really just it's a mess, but I love it.
Going back to what you were saying about the stereotypical and trying to fit in, I definitely found myself doing that. Background from it's just like you're beautiful regardless, and you feel that confident over here. But people in Miami have a different type of confidence. It's a whole different level, and if you're not in shape, if you don't have the body, the hips, the waist, it's just like, well, you feel kind of intimidated of going to the beach because people are just looking at you. But I feel like for me, at least, everybody's taking it a different way. But for me, that was challenging, but it was a good thing for me, because I finally felt that I was, you know what, I do feel this way, but I'm gonna go ahead and change for me, not for anybody else, because I've been trying to work hard and trying to lose weight and tone up and just basically be healthy. And Miami definitely helped me be healthy for myself. I mean, regardless, even if you have the right body, people will still put some type of label on you. But with that, it's basically just challenging you to, basically be brave and, admire your body and love yourself, and telling yourself that you're beautiful, and just keep on giving yourself props of who you are. Yeah, Miami is definitely difficult. For example, for me, when I had first arrived, I actually got a little bit like in depression mode, because I didn't have no friends, I didn't know anybody. Just people are just completely different down there from what I'm used to. But it was challenging, but I was able to get out of my shell and, just basically get going with my life and doing things by myself, which was really challenging because I've never done that before. Being able to say there that you're able to depend on yourself without the need or the fear of having somebody else is really good. So from there, like, I just feel that I'm able to do a lot of things now by myself, that I don't depend on anybody. And I was able to get that because I challenged myself of being alone. I challenged myself of moving to a whole different state, a whole different city where, yes, obviously it is Hispanic oriented, but I was just not used to, how they are and the environment and all these type of different changes.
Yeah.
It was definitely a good thing for me.
And we definitely did have an advantage, I feel like, being able to speak Spanish, because that's an important part of the culture in Miami is Spanish speaking music, Spanish food, just Spanish everything. And I mean, there's like a huge Cuban population, and I have never seen so many Cubans ever, like or just people from different countries in general, like especially at FIU. There's such a diverse group of people in Miami. It really is a melting pot. And that's why I completely fell in love with it, because I felt like I could finally, embrace my Latin side. And coming from Orlando, there's not there's a big Hispanic section in areas. Like, of course, there's a lot of Hispanics in general in Florida, but just like having that 24/7, like you can go out and there's just anywhere you go, they'll play Spanish music, or turn on the radio and there's Spanish music on any station you listen to. And it's just like, I was not used to that at all. And I had went through this phase just when I was about to move there, that I was just listening to like a whole bunch of Spanish music, which I've always listened to Spanish music, but like never that excessively. And so then I felt like, oh my goodness, like I'm so ready, like I'm so excited, like this is where I belong. And then I kind of fell into that depression too, where I was just like, am I good enough to be here? Like, do I really belong here? Is this some place that I see myself, you know, being long term? And I mean, it's a question I still struggle with today, because I'm still enrolled at FIU, and I obviously love the city, like I said, but is it some place that I can continually see myself growing and being in? And I mean, like you said, with it was like a push for you to kind of like be intrinsically motivated to like love yourself and like work out for you and be healthy for you. I felt the same way, which is why I definitely can say like, okay, like it's definitely a positive challenge in some ways, where I can, you know, stay motivated to like look my best, feel my best, and be my best. But then in other ways, it's just like, I can't keep up. I really can't. And then I'm fully like at 100 at all times, and I'm exhausted. Like when is the time when I can take a pause and just like have that time to just rest and not be at 100 at all times?
Yes, no, for sure. And you speaking on that honestly brings me to another topic, which was COVID. For me, I was the same way too. Like I was living my life like at a full speed. Miami is a city that never basically sleeps. So I was just basically in this trend where I was doing everything all at once and living my life, and you know, good or bad, but it was, you know, I was always like up and doing something. But when COVID hit, I actually like realized a lot. I was just like, okay, let me sit down, step back, and see what I've been doing and see where that has been taking me, because I'm obviously now where I want to be, but it's taking me somewhere. So where am I going wrong? So to me, COVID was kind of a little bit of a good thing, because it just put my life in perspective. I was getting caught up in the Miami lifestyle and the Miami life, and no longer really focusing so much as to the reason why I moved to Miami, which was my principal. I was getting sidetracked with, you know, with what it has to offer, because I wasn't mature enough to take it in and being able to put, you know, what I wanted versus what I didn't need.
Find that balance.
Exactly. Yeah, find that balance. Yes, thank you. But I loved it. I loved it. And to me, obviously, as anybody can agree with me, once you move to a different place, regardless if you move to a new city, a new state, or a whole country, you're basically, and if you don't have anybody there, you're by yourself. And you are going to fall, you are going to make mistakes, you are going to regret it sometimes, and you're going to be like, okay, let me go ahead and just go back where I know I'm safe, and I know where if I take this route, I'm going to end up here, which is fine and everything. But at the same time, if you know where that route is going to take you, that's not challenging yourself, and that's not giving you your full benefit and credit of your full potential. Every day, the world is changing, whether big or small, but we're changing. Yet we cannot seem to really know how to like move, because we're just so used to being comfortable, and we don't want to go ahead and challenge ourselves, because we might fear that we're gonna fail. We don't have the mentality, the matureness of doing that. But fear is just it's one of the things that definitely stops you from challenging yourself. And I would just say definitely take everything that you do challenge wise, even if you make a mistake, go ahead and just learn from the mistake, learn from the challenge, and get back up, because it's not a mistake. It's basically you tweaking whatever you're doing to the final product.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that the whole COVID topic would be perfect for like our next episode, because I feel like there's a lot that we can unpack with that, and a lot that that has to do with just the now, and definitely the future, and the past as well, like just all of it as a whole. And there's just so much we can learn still from, you know, living in this pandemic. And there's so much that I have learned personally by just having to, like, you know, find that balance, and having to kind of take a step back and just reflect. So, I mean, kind of to wrap things up, you know, I feel like I'm really truly blessed to have this experience. I feel like Miami was one of the greatest experiences, and still is a great experience. I mean, it's only like 3 hours away from me, so I can still experience it whenever. But you know, I have to take it with a grain of salt, and I've realized that, you know, it's definitely, you know, how you put it, you have to find, you know, what you came there for, because you can get lost. And I feel like a lot of people who are there are kind of just lost, because it's just so much to take in at once, and there's no, like, no one telling you how to actually manage it. So just finding that, you know, balance, like I said, finding your purpose in the city that you're living in. And sometimes it's hard, because sometimes those places are not for you, and realizing that is really important, especially like at an early stage. So I mean, I don't know, how long did you live there?
So I was there for 3 years.
So yeah, I was there for like 2.5 before pandemic, and then I headed back over to Orlando. But I definitely love the city, and much respect for all my Miamians. Y'all are great.
Yes, no, definitely. So, you know, guys, just basically we want you guys to take from this is, if it doesn't challenge you, it will not change you. And, you know, challenge me can go so far. If you feel that you're being so consistent and so you basically have a routine of your life for many years, you're not challenging yourself, and that means you're not really taking out the most of you. You're not working hard. You're not that you're not working hard, but you're not showing yourself the full potential that you have, and that you're able to accomplish more, but you're just not challenging yourself. So we definitely want to go ahead and help you with that, and we hope that you were able to get some knowledge, and basically from our experiences that we've done. And if you have something that you want to go ahead and do, move, or the new job, or, you know, follow your dreams, it's gonna take time, but it's definitely challenging, but we promise you it will change you for the better. You just have to know how to take your losses and put your losses in a positive way and learn from them.
Period. Take those wins with those losses, baby. Seriously. Thank you guys so much for listening to us. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, or hit us up on our socials. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.